Some of the consequences of this path are challenging. Even the positive consequences are challenging. For example, in 2006, when I went for the first time to the Bangalore ashram and the first time to India, just after my father passed away, when I returned 6 weeks later, my grieving process was complete. I felt totally at peace with my father's life and passing, and I had nothing but gratitude for his presence in my life. I felt no remorse about him passing away 20 years before his time, as others were saying, but actually he was passing away when it was his time. And I first became aware of the disconnect that this path could create during a conversation with my brother when he was talking about Dad and sharing his grief, and I realized, my brother is in a very different place to me. And I did not share my own feelings of contentment and gratitude and completion of the grieving process at all. I simply listened to my brother and empathized with his situation, and he said how much he was missing Dad, and I said yes. But I couldn't say, so am I, because I somehow didn't feel separate from him, and I felt everything was complete. And then there were other instances where suddenly, after this experience, I didn't desire things so much that I used to desire. And desires for physical intimacy decreased. I felt more full, more satisfied, more happy without that same need that I'd had in my earlier days. Desire for meat vanished completely, and I stopped eating it. Not because of any conscious choice, just the desire dropped. Desire for alcohol went down and very quickly vanished completely. And within months I found myself having my last ever drink. And then some things I wasn't expecting. I've been told that these things, these desires can become less, but then other desires started to atrophy as well. I stopped wanting to read so much. I stopped wanting to see movies so much. I stopped wanting to travel for any reason other than spiritual pilgrimage as much. I stopped wanting to socialize as much. I stopped wanting to talk meaninglessly as much. And my desires for material accomplishments just atrophied as well. All the things that had fueled me for a long time. My ambitions started to decrease. All these things. Now, ironically, the amount of so-called success that's happened in parallel has gone up as my ambitions have gone down. And the amount of happiness and joy that I've received have, again, gone up as a lot of my desires have gone down. So, again, this has created some challenges. How to be with other people and engage, how to maintain a sense of connectedness, when to start with I thought, hang on, I'm supposed to feel more connected through being on this path, and I feel more disconnected because I feel more different from people. And how to transcend that feeling of separation and difference and come back to realize we are all one, to drop any sense of judgment or it meaning that I am somehow more evolved than other people who still have these desires, which is nonsense, because all that's different is some time, and time anyway is an illusion. So it's created some challenges. It's created some challenges to look at my own mind and to ask, what's happening to me? Am I becoming less sociable? Am I becoming less friendly because I don't feel the same needs or desires to talk as much? And then how to come back to talking again in a way which is different, in a way which could be, truly elevating and invigorating for me and other people. It's taken some time to find ways to be expressed and uninhibited without needing alcohol, to relearn those things that we know as a child. It took a little bit of time to relearn how to do that, to entertain without needing to be entertained. It took a little bit of time, again, to learn and relearn, rather, because we all did it as kids, to relearn how to do these things. But I'm so happy that through the encouragement of others that this occurred. Because now, post-lockdown, there was this meme going around for a while, which was lockdown, when you realize that your life isn't that much different than before lockdown. And I laughed because that's been my life. It hasn't been that much different. I still work from home. I still do a lot of Zoom calls. I still have a lot of time for reflection and introspection. I still have a lot of time to myself. I still don't go out that much. I still don't socialize much. I still don't do movies or read very much. And I still don't travel very much. So on the surface of things are very similar. So these shifts cannot just be intellectual ideas. If you try to just simply drop all these things, then you'll probably be more miserable. But when they drop you, then you can be very happy. So, and when can you have these things drop you? When you discover something which gives you a lot of joy on the inside. And if every day you feel like you're going to this beautiful tropical island of your own heart, or the ski slopes of your own soul, then the need for travel and movies and all these other things, it just doesn't grip you as much. It's just like toys. That's the only way I can describe it. And ultimately these are all sense pleasures. And there's a lot written about the sense pleasures and about how the joy of the self is so much more than that. And that, I can tell you for absolute fact, is absolutely the case. The more that you return to the joy of the self, your own being, and you realize that joy is inside you, then the less that these other things around you, be it travel or some entertainment or some stimulant or some relaxant or whatever, some sensory pleasure, it just doesn't have the same grip on you. You don't have the same need of it. Now, enjoy everything you want to in this world. When you reject these things, still you're not free from them, because you're tied to that very thing which you're rejecting. So you have no need to reject. Then it just becomes an aversion which binds you. It's more just that you can be in any one of these things and know that it won't give you any great joy, because joy comes from the inside.